The Earth was calmly spinning on its axis when a fateful meeting was taking place somewhere in space. The evil alien called the Other, played by Alexis Denisov, has always wanted to vanquish Earth, and when Loki, son of Odin, played by Tom Hiddleston, who was banished from his native planet Asgard, appears before him, he grants the homeless wanderer his wish for the power to destroy his enemies on Earth. Loki is granted control of the Tesseract, the greatest weapon in the universe. His days of penance are over, and his wish for vengeance is about to be fulfilled. The Tesseract itself, a luminous cube alive with contained energy, is in the espionage agency SHIELD's laboratory, where physicist Dr. Eric Selvig, played by Stellan Skarsgård, and Agent Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, are studying it, trying to figure out what its purpose is. They're getting exactly nowhere, which is beginning to disturb their boss, agency director Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, sporting an eye patch. Suddenly, the transparent cube begins to act up, and then goes wild as it opens up an interplanetary portal through which steps Loki, who immediately alters the brain cells of Selvig and Barton, putting them at his command, and goes on to demand that all humans bow to him. What a narcissist! It's not a way to make friends on our basically friendly planet, but why should an evil alien bent on destruction care? But friends aren't what this monstrously evil son of Odin is after. As the exiled brother of Thor, he holds one mean grudge, and when his wanderings led him to the Other, the result was his control of the Tesseract's power, along with the Evil One's army of formidable steel invaders called the Chitauri. Besides the satisfaction of his planet-sized ego, he's here also to exact some devastating revenge on his bro Thor for robbing him of Dad's legacy, the Hammer of God. Such is the setup for an assemblage of all of Marvel Studios' superheroes, which sounds an awful lot like Tesseract power at the box office. Kerpow. And so it is, but with a sharp storyteller's wit and taste. Credit for that goes to director Joss Whedon, who rewrote Zach Penn's original screenplay for Marvel and Disney. How much he retained isn't known, at least by me, but this is one action film that has the attributes of a very talented mind, with a taste for logic and consistency behind one hell of a lot of admirably designed action and effects. The artfully controlled 3D was added in post-production. Fury, realizing the scope of the threat before him, sends out Agent Natasha Romanoff, a.k.a. the Black Widow, played by the unstoppable Scarlett Johansson, to enlist the contrary Dr. Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo, a.k.a. the Hulk on a bad day, while Agent Phil Coulson, played by Clark Gregg, interrupts a touchy-feely moment between electronic genius and playboy extraordinaire Tony Stark, played by Robert Downey Jr., a.k.a. Iron Man, and his assistant, the sensuous Pepper Potts, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, to recruit the man in the impervious iron suit as much for the power he possesses as for shedding some light on the Tesseract and his analysis of Selvig's research. Soon enough, at Fury's personal request, Steve Rogers, Captain America, played by Chris Evans, is added to the group, followed by Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth. And all are put through enough physical action to almost wear out the super in Superhero, though none will admit it. To a man and woman, they give Whedon their best and most committed work. But now, nothing's a slam dunk, even with this crowd, and Whedon's got more on his agenda than an excuse to clang metal and show off Natasha's excellent speed and jujitsu. He's trying to show us that superheroes are human too. And to demonstrate that, he's got the competitive factor set on high, with ego and vanity to match. From the get-go, they're at odds over how to fight Loki and his Chitauri horde. Meanwhile, with his magic wand that contains the Tesseract energy to be unleashed at his will, Loki is having a ball despoiling the infrastructure. Buildings and bridges are taking a beating, while the superheroes squabble about how to contain or destroy him. Until finally, someone realizes that separate strategies dilutes their ability to gain on their common enemy, especially this super-energized bunch arrayed before them. So how do we do this? Asks Natasha. As a team, asserts Thor. Unity is the answer, and once all are agreed, the game is on. Not that the fight doesn't have its lighter moments. Two comedic highlights stand out for me. Loki comes up against the Hulk, thinking that he can deal with the Green Giant as he has with all the others. He tries his energy-loaded spear on the Green Man, to little lasting effect. Now, losing his patience with this idiot, Hulk grabs his preening adversary and flails him about the room as though he's a weightless rag doll. At last we see the villain getting his just desserts by being pounded into the floorboards. An applause moment if there ever was one. The other funny bone moment comes when Fury and his team are strategizing together and trying to learn more about Loki. Thor shocks the group with the admission that the invader is a relative. "He's your brother?" someone says in disbelief. "Well," Thor kittenishly adds, "he's adopted." When you're Marvel and you're making a big action film for Disney, and you're putting all your superhero eggs in one basket, the challenge is to dream up things no one's seen before. Originality is the name of the game, and one of the inventions in futuristic armament design is the helicarrier, an aircraft carrier with 4 massive aerial engines that afford the largest ship in the Navy to fly. Not bad. Downey and company get a workout in whatever green screen confrontation they find themselves, and all are up to the demanding task. Prime physical conditioning is the common attribute among the cast, as credible out-of-breath workouts abound, as they fight off the oncoming unfriendlies. Downey has the added challenge of close-ups inside the tight confines of his suit. Though they are snippets shot out of continuity, these inserts are edited into the action supportively and seamlessly. Watching Johansson in action, even given the assists of 4-frame cutting and sound effects to make it seem she's got the muscle, is exhilarating virtual reality. The girl's got the speed and the spirit, leaving us with the impression she can brawl with anyone. Ruffalo delivers a nice, straightforward performance, and Evans a Captain America with attitudinal shadings. Hiddleston's so good a villain, you just want him to go away. Everyone's juiced up to the right degree. The tension and our basic love of these characters in such an even distribution of involvement and grand context of good versus evil make for maximum enhancement of a terrific script carried out with conceptual proficiency and even sensitivity. Interestingly, save for that brief moment between Stark and Potts, and some suggestive dialogue between Natasha and Clint Barton, there's a deficiency of intragender emotions. It seems that the drive of the story and the psychological complications behind the conflicts, even through 142 minutes that doesn't seem like any more than 120, diverts any thought of who might get into the sack with whom from being a relevant concern. Summing up, this is a highly satisfying night out for everybody from fanboy to action-loving senior, plus a whole lot of foreign folks where the film was initially released, following its Hollywood premiere, and where it enjoyed massive attendance. Gross receipts have been huge, and records are about to be broken.